According to the report, one of the two city-owned landfills here at the 8400 block of North Avenue P is leaking heavy metals. That the ambulance you see right behind me was traveling eastbound on the loop when it apparently hit a patch of ice. Yeah, a major item on tonight's agenda was a proposal by Lubbock's Electric Utility Board to undo some of the damage done. Robertson says every failed recall petition is costing the taxpayers between $2,000 to $3,000. That number jumps if the petition is successful. Bird says it's important to make sure you're really ready for the responsibility of a pet before taking one home. Basically, what the council members have done is made a motion to make amendments to the budget before they approve it, and they've just been on the topic of smart meters for about the last 45 minutes. DeBose says the tour isn't just a big catch for the fans, but can bring a little something extra to the entire game day atmosphere. And here at Meadowbrook Golf Course, there won't be many people teeing off, with more than 15 trees uprooted after the storm. We'll sit down with Benito Capellan, who tells us about life behind bars and his plans moving forward.
I've been in here for almost a week now. I've been doing pretty good, trying to get the gist of being incarcerated.
1 week in jail already feels like a lifetime for Benito Capellan.
It's really made me realize how grateful I really am for getting probation, because 10 years, I can't even imagine.
Capellan is serving 134 days of shock time. It's part of his 10-year probation sentence he received after killing German study abroad student Britta Schneider in a drunk driving crash back in April of 2012. He says he was out celebrating his birthday and was heavily intoxicated when he decided to drive home. During his trial, he testified he never saw Schneider riding her bike when he hit her from behind.
You don't want this on your conscience, what it does to the victim's family. It's all around a tragedy for everyone.
When he's done serving his shock time, another condition of Capellan's probation is to keep Schneider's bike in his bedroom for the duration of his sentence.
Psychologically, yes, it's going to be hard for me, but at the same time, I receive it. I will receive it because it will remind me every day, Not that I need something to remind me every day, but it's more of just that impact that it will have on me, and I will take that as a positive, truly.
Capellan will also have to keep handwritten letters from Schneider's family with him at all times. He says he's requested to have those delivered to him at the detention center.
Having them with me everywhere I go is like having a part of her with me everywhere I go. I read it whenever I get a chance, again, to keep my motivation for I'll never forget, so I won't forget what has passed.
While he says this sentence won't be easy, he's now working to inform others never to drink and drive and try to make a difference in someone else's life.
I actually have started to write a book about just my experiences the past 18 months. And it's allowed me to just kind of pinpoint, the things that I want to do, how to make myself better, how to become stronger in certain situations, how to, help others, not do the same things that I did.
The pages and pages of Robert Carr's notes give us a look into the investigation into President Kennedy's assassination.
So he and I would get together and we'd sit down and talk about it. And when I did that, I made a lot of notes that he and I, when we talked about things, he allowed me to write down so I would try to remember. And that's why look, these little things that I have here with me, I take these with me every place because there are things that he told me about it that I wouldn't read any other place.
Carr's brother was Wagner Carr, Texas Attorney General at the time. It was he who released the president's body to the Secret Service. He also launched the initial investigation, ultimately working hand in hand with the Warren Commission.
Wagner each time led me to know that he was just entirely, he was a person that only advocated that Oswald was the entire conspiracy. It was him only, the gunman was him only, there wasn't anybody making him do it and so forth. And he thought Oswald was the main thing. I had a little bit different view of it. And I agreed that I felt like that Oswald was the only shooter, but I did not agree that maybe there weren't people behind him making it happen.
Though he and his brother didn't see eye to eye on the assassination, Carr thought it was important that Wagner's testimony was in writing, a detailed letter that's now in the Southwest collection here in Lubbock.
And he says in the last sentence, Marina Oswald, widow of Lee Harvey Oswald, told during her testimony about a conversation between them in which he promised her that someday he would be a big man. Oswald must be smiling in his grave. And then he ended the letter.
He said, Monty, I saw all the evidence, and there was no conspiracy.
Monty Monroe with the Southwest Collection was the last person to interview Carr before he died in 2004. He says Carr took the assassination personally.
He believed that Kennedy, a member of his own party who had come down here to mend political fences in Texas, was a guest in his state. And here he was gunned down on the streets of Dallas. And he wanted to make, it was a personal thing for him to find the killer of his president in his state.
Monroe calls the collection the most important trove of Kennedy-era documents, even more so than the National Archive in Washington. Jennifer Spurrier, also with the Southwest Collection, says because Carr's papers are firsthand, they're difficult to challenge.
I think it's significant because these materials are documented materials that are legitimate sources that are tracked, and we know that they haven't been fabricated and that there's no one trying to get across any certain agenda. So they're really helpful for researchers.